Martha, I'm in love with this work, as you know. So tell us a bit about the journey of how you came to make the piece that we're looking at today.
I've been drawing from those paradoxes within my work over the last few years of thinking about this duality between something that's very painful and then also something that's very healing as well. I came across this painting called Spirit of the Plains by an artist called Sydney Long, which was made in the late 1800s. And in this painting, there's this woman who's almost like calling these birds who are following her into the forest. And I found that so enticing, of this idea of the forest being something that was quite symbolic of fear or the unknown as such. But it felt so inviting within this piece. And I like the idea of maybe like sort of flipping the narrative of fear and thinking about things in a more hopeful way, of this idea of sort of embracing uncertainty.
Reflecting on this idea of uncertainty, you've told me that the process itself begins in this uncertain plane.
There's always going to be this sort of dance with the material, and I just work at speed. As I'm doing that, I'm brushing and I'm splattering the paint, actually pulling the canvas up as well to create this sense of movement. I often will put watercolour powder on the wet surface to create these unusual textures, almost just to push into that element of surprise even more. It's very interesting how little oil paint I actually need, but how important that oil paint is.
So you're allowing the landscape to reveal itself to you as much as you've got this initial study. The paint is doing what it likes. It's responding to the atmosphere of the room, the chemicals within the mediums, the water, and something is starting to emerge that's uncertain.
And I think often, which I think is very common with artists, is that those areas of accident or the areas in which you did let go often become the most interesting. I think I'm always trying to ride on the edge of cynicism and beauty within the work, that there's something that I want to almost like lure you in, but then also make you question your surroundings. As we come through darker moments in our life, we're constantly flying into the forest, and sometimes we get pulled back to the darkness again. And then there's this human drive to want things to be better. As long as we're always striving to grow or to fly into that, metaphorical forest of growth, then that's almost all we have, right?